Welcome back to Horse Talk, presented by Tack Shack of Ocala. I'm your host, Louisa Barton, and my co-host is talking to Bri Mott today. They're going to talk racehorses and fashion at the races. Good morning, Bri.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Bri, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got involved in the thoroughbred industry and ended up being a CEO of your own company.
Sure. Actually, I never saw my first horse race in 2009 here at Keeneland, and what brought me to Lexington, Kentucky was I wanted to be a vet, so I came down here and did the Kenny internship, which is very popular here, and it put me on a farm for 6 months at Ashford Stud, and kind of after that, it just snowballed, and I became enthralled with the thoroughbred racing industry and couldn't get enough of it, and about the next couple of years, I changed my path, decided that I didn't want to go the vet route, but I really wanted to change horse racing for the better and make it a mainstream sport again, because it's just not. And so my way of doing that, I guess, was on the front side of the tracks with the social and fashion, and I kind of want to show, girls in nice dresses and hats with a man in a suit holding champagne making a bet, rather than the old-timers sitting at tables with the racing form, and, that kind of deters new fans from coming to racing. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And you're involved with Team Valor International as well as being a CEO of your own company. And you're young, so tell us a little bit about how you kind of broke through in the industry. It's hard for a girl to kind of break through and make her own path in this industry.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've had some wonderful support, and my mother has always kind of pushed me to move forward. And so the company, when that came around, I did have a partner for a while, and his name was Grant, and he was wonderful, from Australia, which they're so big over there in fashion. And so he kind of helped move Fashion at the Races forward, which was great. But working in the industry here in Lexington and making, I guess, the contacts that I did on the farm, and I worked for Nick Zito at Saratoga, I worked the sale, and so once I kind of established those contacts, then having a business, it was easier rather than just coming in and not knowing anything, and that's very hard in thoroughbred racing. When you come in as a new person and you don't really know the ropes, people just turn their backs to you ultimately. So I kind of already made the contacts, which made it a little bit easier to, I guess, start a business and tell them what I'm trying to do, and then once they realize that, they kind of jump on board a little bit more.
So let's talk the Derby. The fashion was incredible, and I noticed, especially on your Facebook, which you have a great Facebook and a great website, that the hats versus the fascinators. So what do you think won out? Was it the big giant hats that everybody's used to seeing, or the Kate Middleton famed fascinators?
Well, the great thing about fashion is it is your personality, it's your opinion. You wear what you want to wear, and, you be confident. And for me, personally, I am not a big hat person. What was great to see at the Derby is you still have the traditional big hat, but you are seeing women go in the direction of the fascinators and hatnators. And we use fascinator term lightly because, sitting there and putting a feather attached to your hair, people are starting to call fascinators, and that's not what that is. But if you want to, we'll go with hatnators, which is the cross between a fascinator and a hat.
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it?
Fun. But they're chic. It's not going to weigh your hair down. It's not going to, impede you from watching the race in front of you. I was at the Derby one year where people cheered when this woman took off her hat so they could actually see the Derby in front of them, and I think that that's a bit ridiculous. And for her, actually, it was hurting her neck because it was so heavy. The races are an 8-hour day, and you want to be comfortable in what you're wearing and look great, because there are a lot of, cameras there that want your picture, and sometimes usually the big brims isn't the one to go for.
So what was the main theme throughout the Derby? I saw a lot of color, I saw a lot of bright. The celebrities were wearing incredible fashion as always, but so were just trainers, owners, spectators. What was the fashion sense there? Like, what was the theme?
So they're actually following our Triple Crown trends, and Derby is the feminine, the tradition, kind of bringing your Southern gal. And so absolutely, the colors, the florals, I saw less black and white, which is what we're going for. Black and white you want to save towards the Belmont Stakes. And I'm really impressed this year with the celebrities because in the past, and not to put myself on a pedestal, but in the past, they just haven't taken it very seriously. And they've just come in sundresses and even like flip-flops and a floppy hat. And I've asked, who made your hat, and they don't even know. This year, they really, really stepped it up. They had, an outfit, a dress that tied into their hat. So I think people are really starting to look at the fashion at the Kentucky Derby, but in general at races, and realizing that it does have a niche, and they do need to raise the bar.
And what can we expect to see at the Preakness? Is there a certain style that people are going for, or something that they're supposed to follow along the lines and tradition of?
So the Preakness is all about, it has been known for its infield party, and we're not going to steal that away from the Preakness Stakes, but you still want to look chic and elegant on the day. So what we say for Preakness is it's all about modern prints, mixing and matching, like having like stripes on top, polka dots on the bottom. You just want to have so much fun with your outfit, and a fascinator hat knitter is perfect for this race day because you are moving around, eating crab cakes, having cocktails. It's a little bit more laid back than the Derby, so you don't want to worry about, your outfit in general. You just want to go there to have fun. So modern prints is kind of the way to go for the Preakness Stakes.
So, Bri, I got to ask you, what did you think about the Derby, about California Chrome's win?
I have a sweet spot for him. He has been interacting with us on Twitter, and once kind of the interaction started, I really started to follow him. So he was kind of my hope from the beginning, and I do feel that he is a Triple Crown contender. I think the Derby was the hardest race for him, and if you look at the Preakness Stakes, there really isn't much of a field. No offense to the other ones. So the hope is that he will win that one with ease, come out looking well, and he'll have the 2 weeks, or it is 2 weeks this year.
I think it's 3, isn't it 3?
Is it 3? Okay.
Yeah.
He'll have the 3 weeks to really rest and keep his training going to hit, the longer race of the Belmont Stakes. So I'm not going to be cheering for anybody else.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I know. Well, I feel the same. Right, we do. I feel the same way. There's a lot of horses with local connections in these races to Ocala, which of course, made us excited and hopeful. But I'm the kind of person who once a horse goes and wins the Derby, I just want them to win all 3.
Absolutely, and I mean, being with Team Valor, you have to know every owner wants their horse to win, and you should be happy for anyone who wins the race. It is such a feat not only to get there with a racehorse, but to be involved with the whole entire Triple Crown and obviously to win it. So whoever wins, I'm absolutely happy for and going to congratulate. But, I mean, you can't beat a Triple Crown contender moving into Belmont. I mean, you can't.
I know. Now, 12 horses since the last Triple Crown win have won the first 2 and not the third one. And when I talked to Art Sherman on the phone, he said, I just want to get through the Preakness, and then we'll look at the next one. I just want to win the Preakness.
He's changed his attitude from going from the horse is going to win the Triple Crown to now he needs to get through a race.
He just wants to get through and win the Preakness, and then and I know the owners are really out there saying, we've got the Triple Crown horse here, and I know that's what we're hoping for. So
right.
We really appreciate you being with us on the show, and you'll be at the Preakness, so we'll be looking out for the fashions and keeping up on you. I know you know Sarah Monahan Sharp, and she's a friend of mine. What a great lady! She always looks fabulous.
Yeah, she brings her fashion A game. But you can follow us on Twitter at @fashion@races, and we'll be tweeting out fashion on the day. So we'll be having some fun.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, Bri.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to talking to you in the future. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be back in a few minutes on Horse Talk, presented by Tax Shack of Ocala with Art Sherman, the trainer of California Chrome.